5 powerful ways to heal your heart and find peace in hard times. In the quiet moments of the evening, when the world feels heavy and the heart grows weary, many of us find ourselves wrestling with questions that seem too vast to answer. Why does God sometimes feel silent? Why do prayers go unanswered? Is there hope when the future feels uncertain and our purpose seems to fade? This is a journey we share, a story of faith tested by the shadows of doubt and the ache of loneliness. Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you. I'm Ordinary People, and I'm here to walk beside you in this moment of reflection. Together, we will explore the depths of Scripture, the wisdom of faithful thinkers, and the quiet hope that sustains us even when the road is dark. This is not a sermon but a conversation, a fireside chat about faith, struggle, and the gentle light of God's presence. Throughout the Bible, we find stories of people grappling with pain, disappointment, and silence. Consider Job, who in his suffering cried out, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." And the Wright reminds us in Surprised by Hope that Christian hope is not a naive optimism, but a resilient trust rooted in the resurrection promise. Philip Yancey, in Where is God When It Hurts?, explores the mystery of divine silence and the way God meets us in our brokenness. Elaine Pagels, through her study of the Gnostic Gospels, reveals alternate narratives of faith that embrace the complexity of spiritual struggle and the longing for deeper connection. Craig Evans highlights the Psalms as a sacred space where lament becomes prayer, a vital expression of faith amid crisis. Bart Ehrman speaks to the tension between faith and doubt, embracing the silence of God as part of the journey rather than its end. John Dominic Crossan situates biblical lament within its political and social context, reminding us that suffering is not only personal but communal. These voices, woven with the biblical text, offer us a framework for understanding our own struggles, not as signs of failure but as invitations to deeper faith. The first step toward healing is to embrace lament. Psalm 42:11 asks, "Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me?" Lament is not a sign of weak faith, but a courageous act of honesty before God. As N.T. Wright teaches, lament opens a space where hope can grow even in the darkest seasons. Philip Yancey encourages us to bring our pain to God without pretense, trusting that God hears even our silent cries. This practice is supported by psychological research, showing that expressing grief and sorrow can be healing, helping us process emotions rather than suppress them. The second strategy is cultivating spiritual practices that ground us in God's presence. Prayer, meditation, and scripture reading become lifelines. Psalm 23 reminds us, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Elaine Pagels points to the mystical silence in early Christian traditions, where stillness and contemplation foster a deeper encounter with the divine. Scientific studies affirm that meditation and contemplative prayer reduce anxiety and increase emotional resilience. By creating regular rhythms of spiritual practice, we anchor ourselves in God's steadfast love, even when feelings falter. Isolation deepens spiritual dryness, but community can be a balm. Hebrews 10:24-25 urges us not to neglect meeting together, but to encourage one another. Real-life experience shows that connection with others who share our faith journey brings encouragement and accountability. Bart Ehrman's exploration of faith and doubt highlights how communal dialogue can support believers wrestling with questions. Science shows that social support reduces stress and improves mental health, making community not just spiritually vital, but psychologically essential. The fourth solution is engaging with Scripture honestly, including wrestling with difficult passages. Craig Evans emphasizes the historical context of biblical texts, encouraging us to see Scripture as a living dialogue rather than a static rulebook. This honest engagement allows us to confront doubts and questions without fear. Neuroscience research suggests that cognitive engagement with challenging ideas promotes mental flexibility and resilience. Verses like Ecclesiastes 3:1 remind us, "For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven." Our final solution is to integrate faith and science, recognizing that God's truth is revealed through both Scripture and creation. John Dominic Crossan's work on the political context of biblical lament invites us to see suffering through multiple lenses. Modern science offers insights into brain function, emotional health, and resilience that complement biblical wisdom. Verses like Romans 12:2 encourage transformation by renewing our minds, inviting us to embrace both faith and reason as partners in our journey. Delving deeper, we find that the mystery of God's silence is not abandonment, but a space for growth. N.T. Wright describes this as the dark night of the soul, a period where faith is refined like gold in the fire. Elaine Pagels' research into mystical silence shows that such experiences can lead to profound spiritual awakening. Science supports this with findings on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow through challenges. Psalm 34:18 assures us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This deep theology invites us to trust that even in silence, God is working. As we reflect, remember these truths. Lament is a doorway to hope. Spiritual practices root us in God's presence. Community sustains us. Honest Scripture engagement frees us. And faith and science together illuminate our path. Each step is a quiet act of courage, a choice to resist despair and return to the light. I leave you with this thought. In the silence, where God seems distant, what if that space is a sacred invitation to deeper trust? What if your journey through doubt and fear is part of a larger story of redemption? As Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Choose hope, choose faith, choose to come home. This testimony is given in a spirit of reflection, and doth not presume to take the place of the Church's sacred and authoritative interpretation. If something stirred within you today, don't let it fade. Share this message with someone who might be walking through the dust right now. Reflect, resist, return, because hope isn't passive, it's a quiet, courageous choice, and you're not alone in making it. Let the light speak. Let grace lead. Come home. See you in the next Bible reflection.